So, with news out of New York Giants camp that Daniel Jones does not like their offer and thinks he's worth around $45 million, which puts him in between, I believe, Josh Allen and just below Patrick Mahomes in terms of AAV, which is borderline insanity. CBS Sports, Cody Benjamin named the top landing spots if he were to go elsewhere, and the Falcons were number two, right behind the Indianapolis Colts. Which brings us to our just stop tweeting moment of the week. Listen, guys, I don't know what the Falcons are going to do at quarterback, but if they go and trade for Daniel Jones and pay him $45 million, I might stop talking about them on this show.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't have to trade him. He's a free agent, so they're going to sign him if they choose to go that route.
Well, you would think the Giants would probably franchise and try to trade him, kind of like Lamar. Maybe not for as much, but you would think they would try to get something.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. There's a few things I want to talk about this. First of all, we can go down the list of landing spots. So we could start at the Titans. They have Ryan Tannehill. There is a chance they move off of him, though. And then there's the Patriots. There's a chance they move off of Mac Jones, but they have Bailey Zapp, so there's zero possibility that works out. The Ravens. They're not going to pay Lamar Jackson, but they're going to pay Daniel Jones. Okay, moving on. And then the Colts. I mean, the Colts are, for all intents and purposes, they're rebuilding. They're done with the quarterback mercenary. I hope. If they're not, I mean, get Chris Ballard out of there. Now, moving on to the Falcons, I could see it's plausible. Daniel Jones, he's an athletic guy. He resembles in a lot of ways Ryan Tannehill, who Arthur Smith had a lot of success with. He's coming off the best year of his career. He's an ascending talent. With all that being said, his career year was still average at best. That's not worth $45 million. And that brings me to my next point. Everyone knows this guy's not worth $45 million. This is just a ploy to potentially get him like 37 or something that's still ridiculous. I mean, Daniel Jones is worth at most like $30 million, and I would still be like,
I would say 28.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I know this is how the NFL has gone, and this is really what the Just Stop Tweeting is all about. It's really these quarterbacks demanding these contracts that they don't deserve, and it's not really their fault because teams keep handing it to them. And when are we going to learn that paying the average quarterback the same as Patrick Mahomes is not conducive to winning? Because then you just have to make up with the same amount of money what Patrick Mahomes brings to the Chiefs. You know how hard that is to do? I mean, if you were to do this on like a WAR basis, which is more for baseball, but like what's Mahomes worth? Like five or six wins each season just because he's Patrick Mahomes. Like if you put him out there with just, me and you, like we're going and getting 5-6 wins. But it just doesn't make any sense paying these guys the same amount of money. And it's always like, oh, he's got to set the market. Why does Daniel Jones have to set the market? He is like the 20th best quarterback in the NFL. He's maybe top 15. Like, there's no reason he should earn $20 million, within $20 million of Patrick Mahomes. There really is no reason.
Yeah. He's closer to Desmond Ridder than Patrick Mahomes.
And people want to say, oh, like, you don't want to have to go into a rebuild. Well, why not? Because I can tell you what, you're not winning. You're just delaying the inevitable by being mediocre if you pay this mediocre quarterback $40 million. So you're not going to win with them. I'd rather rebuild and hope you get the next Patrick Mahomes.
The Giants, in this particular scenario, I know you're talking more in generalities, but the Giants are good. Brian Daboll's the real deal. One of me or you could go and join that offense and get a couple of wins. They've got the talent. Brian Daboll's a great coach, gets everything out of his players. Like I said, Daniel Jones just had a career year.
And that's because of the coach.
Still average. And it's still average. Just go get, Taylor Heineke could do the same thing for
Gardner Minshew.
$20 million off. Gardner Minshew could do the same exact thing to me. And, Daniel Jones is probably he is a little bit better than those guys, but it's not, $20 million difference. It really isn't.
Yeah.
So
I think there is going to be a seismic shift in the NFL eventually one of these days where we just stop paying these average quarterbacks premium quarterback money. I think that's the direction. It'll eventually happen because that's been the way for too long and it hasn't worked out.
Yeah.